The whole kind of concept idea originated with me approaching Scott at one point, talking about how it would be kind of neat to include our art with some type of mission. My original idea was to take mission trips, take photographs as we were in a particular village, do a series of paintings, and the sale of those paintings could help, with the mission trip, and then the actual village or ministry that was set up in that part of the world.
I would love to show the importance of art again. I want art to be more than just a great picture on the wall. I want to be able to show that art influences, art affects, art can build community. Throughout history, most cultures are known by art and by art and music. And I feel like, to a degree, somewhat we've kind of lost that, as in just painting and sculpture is now just to match, the couch, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to show the importance of art again, and that art can really affect things. And so I was explaining this to Janet Ward, and I talked about some ideas that we had, and she said, you've got to meet and you've got to talk to these people at ICM. And from the minute I heard Dois's vision for ICM, I was completely blown away.
And then Scott came to me a few months ago and just said, hey, I've been talking with, I believe it was Lisa Cherry or somebody at ICM, and said, that idea you talked about as far as mission work, paintings, I think I have something. It's not, we're not going necessarily anywhere, but we can get pictures. And hopefully the sale of our paintings can help build a church somewhere in the world. I tend to like to dive into a lot of different types of styles. I'm primarily known for my landscape or horse paintings, and these are typically a little bit on the modern or abstract side. I like to paint on wood panels that I make myself. I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and I buy all the wood. And I also use a little bit unconventional type medium, which would be house paint. I also do use some paints that I get from California. Another technique that I'll use is I do a stain of asphalt over my paintings. And so, and not every painting, but for the most part, most of my paintings will get a dark stain of asphalt over the top. And then I have this process with mineral spirits where I pull the stain out of certain areas and I leave it dark in other areas, and it kind of gives it an old world kind of feel. I am inspired by some of the old masters, and it comes through in some of my work. I also have developed an appreciation for some more modern contemporary painters.
Yeah, my painting method, the whole thing is a little bit different, as in it's painted on aluminum, and I do etching and grinding in the background first. It's kind of like a three-step process. I do the etching and the grinding first, and then I put a background color on top of that, and then I'll do the painting on top of that. My painting style, I would assume, I would call it mostly impressionistic. Well, I love to use aluminum because it does create that different dimension. I can have almost two separate, images in each painting. I can have the actual painted, oil and acrylic painting, and then I can have a sometimes completely different, sometimes complementary background image, and it changes as you walk by. I love the effect of something that it's not always just a static image. It looks different from one side as it does from the other. It looks different under different lights. It looks different at different times of day. I love the fact that it changes, and it's like a live piece. I've got to do all this grinding. I've got a handful of different angle grinders. I've got some Dremel tools, brushes, different, all different styles of, wire wheels and wire brushes, and different speeds. I've learned that different speeds make different, visible marks, and the way the light hits it differently. I don't have a ton of money, but I can, create some work that could generate more money to build a church. I would love if I could say that I've created work that actually built a church. How much more effective is that? I would love to be able to say that, I was able to create these pieces, they were sold, and that money went to building a church.
Knowing that it's not just a church, but it's a It's a place where it might be the only building in this particular village, and it's an orphanage, it's a school, it's a place of refuge.
I'm just amazed at the vision, the efficiency of ICM and what they do as far as building local churches and how they do it, and not just building a building and then just leaving. They really are building a church and establishing, a leader in that church, and then really taking care of, what's going on.